Welcome to Second Chance Garage. Okay, this is not my typical video, but I'm going to shoot this just to tell you what had happened. There was a line of events that didn't seem to be tied together, that they were. I'm a religious man, don't hide that. So, the Lord put me in places that I was supposed to be. Things happened to me that was supposed to happen in a certain order for a certain reason. Okay, the very first thing that happens to me is a blow brake line in my truck, my blue truck. And I'm like, well, it had knee brake lines on it. You wouldn't have thought it would have blew one, you know. But it was under the hood. It was easy to find. I could fix it. It wasn't any big deal. It wasn't expensive. But while I was doing that, I had to get underneath the truck and bleed the brakes. Well, I got underneath the truck to bleed the brakes and realized, hey, this back tire's completely flat and weather checked. So if I have a flat tire, I'm screwed. So I wound up pulling it out and taking it out from underneath there, and I took the spare tire out of my black truck, and it was in decent shape. I aired it up, I put it up under there, and it was one of those things where you're like, oh, for crying out loud, I blew brake line, now I got a flat tire, and I gotta take the tire out from underneath the truck, and of course your jack is in behind the seat of the truck, so it's a big pain in the butt to get out, and it's never been out. So then you had to try to figure out how it all operated just to get the spare tire out from underneath the truck. It was one of those things, and you're thinking, oh, for crying out loud, it's just snowballing. Okay, well, this is what happened. That was about 2 weeks ago. All right, so then Friday night, I'm on my way home, and boom, I blow a steer tire. Driver, the passenger side front tire blew out because they were dry rotted. All of them are pretty dry rotted. So I got pulled over, and it just so happened that right where I was down to about 55 miles an hour in road construction, and they had one entire lane blocked off. So the lane that I pulled over, I not only had the whole side of the road, but I didn't have to worry about anybody coming blazing by you. If you've ever changed a tire along the interstate, they're just blazing by you, semis and everything. I didn't have to worry about any of that because I had a whole nother lane barricaded off where it was down to one lane. I had all the rest of it that they couldn't even get to me because there were barrels. So that was perfect spot. And the jack came out of the truck. I figured out how it all worked when I was trying to take the spare out. So I already knew how the spare came out. I knew how the jack came out. It took me about an hour because I needed a 4x4 block. And I didn't have the 4x4 block with me, so I had to use the factory setup. They've got a couple L brackets. And you got to put your L brackets back to back, then balance your jack on top of it and try to jack it up. Well, if the road's got a little bit of a slope to it, it'll keep popping that jack off. So it took me about an hour to get it changed out. Okay. And I'm like, well, this is great. So now all the tires are rotted. I'm going to have to get all new tires put on. And it just so happened that I went up to Farm and Fleet on Saturday. And Farm and Fleet right now, through October 6th, has a buy 3, get 1 free. And if you're not a member, rewards member, you also get $50 for that if you sign up. And it's don't cost you anything. Plus you get $50. So I blew out that tire on the weekend. I needed to blow it out So I knew. Then I went up there and found out it was perfect timing. It was perfect timing to blow that tire. So I have to replace all the tires. So I go up there, and then I find out the set by Cooper Discovery all terrains. And it just so happened that the ones I needed for the truck were being replaced with a new Cooper Discovery all-terrain. One of them was white lettered, which is what I wanted, and the new ones weren't. That, I think, was about the only difference. And I wanted the white letter, so I put them out. So, and they happen to have 4 of them in stock. So they were on a clearance sale on top of that. So the reason why the brake line blew out was because I could find the tire, that the tire was flat, so I could put the new tire in it, so that way when I blew the tire on the weekend that the big sale was going on at Farm and Fleet, I would have a spare tire to put on to get home, and then be able to go back up to Farm and Fleet and find out that they were having a big tire sale this weekend. So it depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, sure, the brake line I fixed was just a couple compression fittings and a piece about this long. It wasn't that big a deal. And I had it fixed, and I had the Mustang, so I wasn't no major hurry. I didn't have to really kill myself or panic over it, So, because I was driving a Mustang back and forth to work. So then once I found out that the spare tire was flat, well then it was no big deal. I had one out of the black truck. I aired it up and it was in good shape, and I slapped it up under there, greased everything, and it took maybe 20 minutes to put it under there. Get the old one out, get the new one up. It took me, if you tack on trying to figure out how the whole jack system worked, because it'd never been out of the truck. I had never done that even with my black truck. It had the same setup, but I always carried a little baby floor jack with me in a 4x4 block, and I would just slam that underneath it, jack it up, and I got a 4-way lug wrench, pull them loose, but I forgot my 4x4 block in this truck, in the black truck, and never put it in the blue one. All right, so anyway, you see the circle of life here. The reason why the brake line blew was so I could find the tire on the truck, the flat tire under the truck, and get it switched out. And then the reason why the tire blew out was so that way I would find the big tire sale and the clearance sale for the tires, and they're also aligning my tires for $100. So there was a whole progression of brake line blowing out, find a tire, replace the tire with the spare tire out of the black one. None of it took very long. And, I wasn't under any pressure to get it done, because I had the Mustang I was driving back and forth to work. So, and then blew the tire, and I blew the tire in a perfect spot, because if I would have been in front of the road construction or behind the road construction, then I would have had to worry about, cars driving right past you. I mean, people don't care. People absolutely do not care. So, and I blew the tire on the passenger side, so that made it even better, So, it depends, glass half full situation, And then of course I found all the tires on sale, like I said. So it was a whole big path of the way the Lord did it, The Lord wanted me to know that that tire was flat. But the only way I was getting under that truck is if there was a reason for me to get under that truck. Because I had lubed that up and made sure it worked when I first got the truck. But that was over a year ago. So that's why he had the brake line blow out. So I'd have to bleed the back brakes, bleed all the brakes, find a tire, yada, 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 like I said. So, with me, I have peace of mind knowing that the Lord's watching out over me. Even if something like that happens, and I blow a brake line, and I have to fix it, I've got the tools to fix it. I can fix it. I got the ability to do that. And I never find out the reason for it. It could be that I wasn't supposed to be at a certain place at a certain time, something like that, I may never know, but I know that there's a reason, for everything that happens. So anyway, I was just sitting here Sunday morning and was thinking about this, and I was thinking about it last night, and so I'm going to shoot a video on this so people understand, if you're running late for work and you go into the gas station, there's a line of people at the gas station and you're waiting to pay for your gas or your breakfast sandwich, smokes, whatever you're doing, and you go in there and you got to wait an extra 10 minutes, but you're still going to make it to work on time. There might be a reason why he has you standing there in that line, because 10 minutes before you could hit a deer, 10 minutes after and you could hit a deer, you know what I mean? There's a window that you're supposed to go through, you know what I mean? A window of time that you're not supposed to be going through there. So, I mean, not all the time does it work that way, but sometimes it does. Sometimes there's just a line. But other times, and you'll never know. You'll have no idea, that's what he did. But, so anyway, that's what happened to me over the last, I would say it's been 3 weeks. I'd say it's probably been a total of 3 weeks. Blew the brake line, found the spare and got it out, put the other spare in, and then blew the tire. Yeah, and then another thing that happened is I was driving my Mustang back and forth to work. Well, I put these rubber blocks about this big, which I got a video on, in the springs. Well, the one on the driver's side just split in half for no reason. I don't know what that was about, but I did it to stiffen up the front suspension. Well, that busted. And then I couldn't drive the car back and forth to work until I got it fixed. So I got it fixed, put a new rubber block in the spring so it don't bounce so much in the front, don't drag my side pipes. So that's where it started. And then it snowballed from there. And then I had filled up the truck with gas. So then normally I would have been driving the Mustang the whole time. But I couldn't drive the Mustang because I had that out. So then I fixed that, then the brake line and so on and so forth. And then I had filled up the pickup truck so it was full of gas, and the Mustang was empty, so I thought, I'll just drive truck this week. And that's when all the tire stuff happened. Because it was supposed to happen because he wanted me to save money, which worked out great. So anyway, that's the way my life's been going The Lord's got a plan for everything, so I don't really have to worry about too much. But I'm just saying that, you're standing in line at a gas station, don't get pissed about it, because there might be a reason why you're there. So, if you like it, subscribe. And I do have a video coming out on the Mustang, that block. I'll show you that. And then I think I got another one on the Mustang too, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I got 2 more shot, but I haven't posted them yet. So I'm going to post this one first, then I'll post the other 2. So, anyway, if you like it, subscribe. Uncle Russ out.